So today's video is going to be the first of many This video is going to be the first of many videos in my back to school series on my channel, where I'm basically going to get you guys ready for high school or college. Most of the information will be geared towards college, but if you want me to sometimes focus on high school, I totally can, because I've been through high school, I'm in college. So I've had both experiences to share with you, but for today's purposes, we will be sticking with college today. So these are going to be the top 10 things I've learned, sort of like a, not all of them is like everything that I've learned, but things that I've also grown to deal with as a high schooler. And so yeah, I had to put the list on my phone because I will forget if I don't. So yeah, you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. And excuse my natural hair. Like, girl, my twist out, you know how when your twist out don't come out as clutch as you thought it was gonna come out, and then you just be like, whatever. Just me today. So the first tip that I have for you guys is to be safe. And I mean that in two different forms. Be safe if you're on campus, because it is very dangerous. It's a lot more dangerous than you think. I know that at UNC Chapel Hill, they've had to deal with women being raped on campus. So just make sure that when you're scheduling your classes, that you pay attention to what time your class is. I don't think night classes are a good thing for any woman, if you ask me. Even if you do drive, even if, you know, like, I don't care what the circumstances is, it's just a dangerous thing. And I also mean it as in have safe sex, because everyone, it's natural in college. It's natural that in college you're gonna want to, when two adults love each other, it's natural to want to, engage in sex. Everyone does for the most part. And I'm not for or against. I feel like if you want to keep your virginity, perfect, that's a good thing. Be proud of the fact that you're keeping your virginity, and your friends should support you. If you choose to not keep your virginity and have sex, that you're no different. Like, there's no more, to me, that's not something that makes you immoral if you choose to have sex before you get married. I feel like it's natural. But all I'm saying is don't be out here having sex raw and unprotected. Now, why I say that is because you can get pregnant or an STD, and keep in mind that most guys on college are having sex with lots of girls, especially the ones that are single. Now, there are some faithful men out there, I'm not shading y'all, but the ones that are not, he could potentially be carrying something, and it's not worth it. So have safe sex. Lesson number 2, or tip number 2, time management. Now, this is very crucial when it comes to college, because if you do not manage your time wisely, you will never have enough time. And even in community college, it's the same thing. I know in college it's another level, because you got to make sure you get groceries for yourself, you need to make sure you take a bath, but you also have a job, but it's the same thing in community college. You have to but I mean, there's even a difference of how hard it is, because, in community college, you don't live on campus, but so that means you have to drive to campus, leave campus, go to your job, there's still a lot of time, there's a lot of chunks of time being taken away, and you still have to find time to study, read, take notes, whatever it is you have to do. So you have to figure out how to manage your time, and you need to figure out what works best for you. Now, me personally, I'm one of those girls who I have to do things ahead of time, because if I don't do them ahead of time, I won't get it done. So I tend to do all my assignments quickly, almost immediately as they are assigned, especially if it's something I don't want to do. So if you're like me, then you need to do everything ahead of time. You don't need to be one of those last-minute procrastinators, because procrastination is so serious and so deadly. Procrastination almost made me fail a class, because I waited to the last minute to do an assignment, wasn't able to turn it in, and then it took my grade from an A to an F. So it's very crucial. Tip number 3, scheduling. Scheduling your classes is probably ASAP and very, ASAP, what was I thinking? It's very pivotal to how your college experience will turn out. A lot of people like to schedule their classes at around 8 o'clock, especially freshman year, because you're going in after high school and you're like, oh yeah, I just got out of high school and I was up at 8 o'clock, so I can do 8 o'clock classes, No. Take it from someone who did it both semesters of their freshman year. You do not want those 8 o'clock classes, because they suck. They suck so horrible. Like, can you imagine staying up all night and then having it at 8 o'clock in the morning? Like, there's no worse feeling. There's no, Like, let's say when you go to schedule your classes, you say to yourself, hey, I want all my classes out of the way before 5 o'clock. That's a good plan, But that don't mean go get an 8 o'clock class, because no, like you're not gonna want to do it, especially if you party, hang out with your friends a lot, or you work. You're just not gonna enjoy it. So I say pick something. I say basically 9 to 10 o'clock, maybe. 10 o'clock is usually when everybody schedules most of their classes because it makes more sense. And also to go along with scheduling, I say get a planner. This was the planner that I had from last semester. As you can see, I wrote through it a lot. There's a lot of things that I've written down. I hope I ain't got nothing embarrassing on here. But yeah. I basically wrote down a lot of things. I really got creative with mine. I don't know about you guys, but I got really creative. Because it was just it was something that I found to be fun. Like, as you can see, for, I drew a little snowman for winter break because I was so excited for Christmas. So just buy you a planner, because a planner is essential in college because it just helps manage your time. Now, boys, I don't know if y'all like planners, but I feel like planners are unisex. But I do feel like if you're a girl, you should get a girly one that matches your personality. But that's just me. Tip number 4, studying. Studying in college is almost the bare minimum you can do. Like, there's no way you're going to get through any of your classes without studying. Like, you get those occasional few where you don't really do much work and so you don't need to study. But in most classes, you're going to be looking at studying it, because if you don't, there's really no way. Because memorization is not going to be the most important. Like, in college, the professors do not place importance on memorization. They kind of place it more so on understanding the actual concept itself. So if you can remember all the parts of the body, but you can't explain what functions they do, then you're kind of still not going to do as well on the test, even if you know all the names. So studying is definitely a key part, and I don't think I have to go too much in depth about that. Number 5, relationships are important. And I don't mean like your significant other. I'm talking about like your relationship with your teachers. And I only say this because you're bound to get in a class that you're struggling with, because everybody has a strong suit and a weak suit. Like, I'm great at English, but terrible at math. So in math, I really make sure that me and the teacher are very good, on good terms. That we're very, she knows me by name. She knows who I am. She knows what I need from this class. She knows why I'm in here, and I work my butt off. That way, at the end of the semester, if I'm at a D or a C, she'll give me the C. Like, I had a teacher in my stats class. It was a very hard class, and I remember approaching him the last week of the semester, like, look, I don't want to fail your class. I've been working hard all semester. And he ended up giving me a C. Now, I worked for the C, but still, I was wavering on the line where I could have possibly got a D. So all I'm saying is that your relationships with your teachers can definitely, or your professors as they're called, can really be beneficial in the long run when it comes to difficult courses that you will struggle in. So make it a priority to get to know your professors and make sure that they know that you're not one of those kids that are there to play around. You're there to be serious and to get your grade. Tip number 6. And I wrote, you need friends, but not many. And I'm gonna say this because I learned my lesson. You do not need a group of friends in college. It's similar, especially not the way that you did in high school. Like, I was one of those girls who in high school I had a lot of friends. Like, I was pretty much friends with everybody in the student body. So when I graduated, I kind of went into, freshman year of college thinking like, okay, I'll just have another group of, like, a big group of friends again. And it didn't work out. To be honest, when you graduate high school, you eventually stop talking to a lot of the friends. And I know since a lot of us ended up going to the same community college, everybody thinks like, oh, we all are going to be friends, right? No, it's completely different. You kind of have a different mindset about it. I mean, now you're in college and you're working towards your actual degree. So now there's no need to be fake. There's no need to pretend to like you. So a lot of people who pretended to like you will now blatantly not care about you. So you don't need as many friends as you think you do. Make sure you surround yourself with 2 or 3 friends, because it does get lonely in college. I mean, you spend a lot of time at school and sometimes you get lonely. You miss your family, your friends, more so on campus than off campus, but you need to have some friends that you can call on to have your back. So tip number 7, your parents are your life support. And this is the lesson that I learned, because I've always taken my parents somewhat for granted. I will not lie to you. I can be very upfront and honest. I've always kind of taken them for granted and not really looked at life the way that they do, like from a grown standpoint. Like, I'm just now coming into my grown woman life. So prior to that, I didn't understand the importance of saving your money, saving the dollar, not wasteful spending. But in college, it gets serious. In college, it's no more of that going out to eat with your friends every week, because when you only got $20 left and that's all you got for the next 2 weeks, you're like, should I go out with my friends and spend this 20, or should I hold on? And that's why your parents become your life support, because they are the ones that are going to give you money if you need it in most cases. I mean, I know there's some cases where your parents don't, but they're going to be the ones that give you money when you need it, like emergency money. But they're also going to be the people that you can easily lean on and call whenever you're going through something. Like my mom, I know that when I go off to college next spring, I can call her like at any moment and tell her whatever it is I'm going through, and she'll be there to pick up the phone. So that's essential. That is, you need your parents. They become your life support, and you will definitely grow to appreciate them more. Number 8, priorities. Your priorities are essential in college. It's one of those biggies that if you don't have your priorities in check, you will do bad in college. And I say that because it's easy to lose focus. It's easy to go into college that semester and be like, yeah, I'm going to get all A's, but over time just get, you get tired or you get kind of burnt out. But I'm gonna tell you like this: you gotta remember that the end goal is to get your degree, and that's what you're there for. It's okay to make friends. It's okay to flirt with the boys. It's okay to go to parties. But your main goal at the end of the day needs to be on that degree. You need to sleep at night thinking like, okay, tomorrow we're one step closer to this degree. You don't need to get sidetracked by boys and drama, because your grades will suffer. And it's a lot more in college. It's not like high school where you can kind of make up your work. Like, no, usually an assignment comes, if you miss it, your grade's gone. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Like, a lot of teachers do not offer makeup work. I've even had very nice, lenient teachers not allow you to make stuff up. So it's not like high school where you can make up your work or you can come back and do it at a later date. No, it's not like that. And they don't even give you progress reports, so you have to keep up with your own grades. You have to figure out where you stand in the class yourself. And so that being said, if you are not focused on school, you will forget that, you're failing. You won't forget, but you'll never realize you're failing until the end. And that's never what anyone wants to do. Trust me. Number 9, staying focused. As I said for tip number 8, staying focused is a very essential part of surviving college. Only because I'll give you an example. My freshman year of college, I came in and I was really excited because I really wanted to get all A's and transfer soon. So I worked really, 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 really hard. I worked hard. I busted my butt, and I ended up with all A's except for 1 D. Now, coming back for a second semester, which was in the spring, I kind of started off good. I was kind of back into the swing of things, but I think winter break burnt me out, and because I had worked so hard in the fall, spring semester, I kind of just struggled to keep focused. I struggled to keep my mind focused on the goal, which was transferring. And I almost completely forgot that I was even there to be transferring, So I almost got stuck in a rut. And luckily, I had friends that brought me out of the rut and brought me back to the light. And then I remembered that I'm trying to transfer and go off to college. So as I said, staying focused, you got to. It's important, and if you don't stay focused, you will lose sight of your goal, especially in community college, because whatever you're there for, whether it's a 2-year degree, whether you're there to transfer, or whether you're there to get a certificate or diploma, whatever it is you're there for, you can't get sidetracked, because you will end up staying there a lot longer than you want to. And I've had friends that have been there for like 2 or 3 years, So, and they still don't know what's going on. They don't know whether they're transferring, whether they're graduating. They don't know. They're just like, well, whatever. So, as I said, stay focused. You need to have friends to keep you focused and remind you sometimes. And tip number 10, have some fun, girl. I don't want this to all seem like all I'm screaming is schoolwork, schoolwork, schoolwork. No, college is fun. So have fun. Don't be afraid to be that person and have fun. But always keep in the back of your mind what you're there for. That's the key to surviving. You can have as much fun as you want. You can be the girl at every single party. But as long as your priorities are right and you are getting things done and handled like your business is handled, you're perfectly good. You need to go to them parties, go take a load off, because college is very stressful. I can't tell you how many times when I was taking statistics that I was in my room, you know, studying, crying, because I'm just feeling like it was so overwhelming, pressure and stress. So don't be afraid to go out and have a good time, but just make sure your business is handled before you do so, because it gets real. So that is all for now, guys. I will definitely answer any questions you have about college or anything like that if you leave them down below. I will make some more videos about school-related things, but until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye!